Claire Louise Hay from BeHealing.com, and welcome to The Answers, the show where I answer your questions with the answers from my spirit guides. And so today's question comes from a customer, and she asks, what are mental illnesses from this higher point of view, and how can they be addressed? She says, such as schizophrenia. Now, mental illness is just a way of someone's higher self allowing that soul to have what they need in order to have a connection. Okay, so what I mean by that is, as an incarnated spirit, so a spirit who a higher self that has incarnated as a human being, we are constantly trying to get this connection with our higher self, constantly aligning with our higher self more and more, finding out more about who we really are and making changes, growing spiritually, growing emotionally, and just becoming more and more connected with our higher selves. Now, some people get really disconnected and kind of go in the opposite direction. They lose the way, and they can't connect very well with spiritual practices, or they lose the way. And what happens is, when they lose the way in that from their higher self, their spirit still wants them to find some relief. The spirit still wants to find them to find a way of connecting with a higher self that's easier for them. Okay, and so if your mind is fully aware, fully alert, and you haven't managed to make that connection with your higher self, then that awareness, or the mind, will be taken away a little, and so that it's like a letting go process of the mental illness or whatever it is allowing the mind to come down a level to allow this connection with the higher self. And so I don't know whether that makes much sense to you as an answer. I'll give you an example. My grandparent just died recently. She suffered from Alzheimer's for many years, and so as soon as she died, I had much more of a connection with her because I'm a medium, and so it was kind of nice. It was kind of nice to be able to communicate with her again after so many years of not being able to communicate with her. And I asked her why did she choose to have Alzheimer's, because that didn't make much sense to me, and it made perfect sense what she told me. She told me that throughout her life, it was getting harder and harder for her to accept the change that was going on. And so in her years, life had changed so much that it was very hard for her. So these technological changes, and life is just was changing so rapidly, and she couldn't deal with it. She had a hard time with change, and it was making her fear, and it was hard for her to deal with it. And so she said she chose to have Alzheimer's because, for that same reason, it allowed her to just disconnect from that and not have to deal with those changes. It allowed her an ease of connection with her higher self to release all of that worry and the fear that was going along with the change. And so it actually released her up to have a better experience of life, for it to carry on, rather than from other people's point of view that it would be worse. So that releasing of the being aware of everything, and everything being so hard, having the Alzheimer's allowed her to not worry about it, to not even notice it anymore. And so this is the reason that spirits choose this path. Also, if we're talking about children, it's different. Children who manifest these kind of diseases or mental illnesses tend to do it from a spiritual point of view. So the higher self has already decided that they want to have certain limitations or certain challenges in order to grow as a person within their life. And so it's not so much about as a result of them not having a connection, it's a result of their spirit already deciding that this is what they would have to deal with in their lives, so that they could grow from there. And so you'll find that many people who have any kind of disability or mental illness, and have grown so much because of that, and not only that, but the people around them as well. They've given a gift to the people around them too. And so there's many reasons that spirits would want to give themselves an affliction in order to grow in that kind of way. So I hope that's answered your question, and thank you so much. A really interesting question. I'm sure a lot of people will be interested in the answer to that one. Thank you, bye.